Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Sutendra. Today we are going to learn about method overloading and we'll deep dive into this concept. I have already explained you about method overloading, overriding in my previous videos. Kind of overview I have given. I have explained everything about overloading and overriding. So let me give you a brief about this. Overloading is a part of polymorphism where the method takes the other forms. Like, what does polymorphism means? It means when a method can take more than one form, it can use another forms, then we can say that it is polymorphism. And polymorphism can be of two types. In Java it is overloading and overriding. Overloading happens within the same class where we have the same method name signature, and the arguments I mean to say the values are in the parentheses. Like, we give int a in parentheses, int a, int b, or string a. So these kind of parameters we can change in overloading, but the method name should be same. That is method overloading, and it happens within the class. What is method overriding? Method overriding happens in the subclass where the method signature remains the same, but the implementation changes. So this is the overview. Let's start. In this video, we are primarily going to focus on the method overloading. We'll deep dive into it, and we will learn all the aspects of method overloading. We'll also go through a few of the examples. We'll do the coding, as well as we will uh, learn something about the theory and the rules for valid overloading. What are the rules? We'll learn about this. Okay, so let's first go through the definitions only. So what is method overloading? Method overloading is also called compile time polymorphism. Also called compile time polymorphism. Why do we say compile time polymorphism? Because it works while compiling the code within the class. Okay, so the spelling is wrong here, polymorphism. Okay, so, and or another name is also static polymorphism, because once it is declared, it cannot be changed while overridden. Like an overriding, it does not change, there is no implementation in it. Like, the main concept in it, the method signature and the parameter set. The whole thing in overloading, whole things is uh, based on the name and the parameter types. That's the main. Okay, so what is it? Okay, we have understood that we also call this compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism. But polymorphism, but what is it? It is the ability. What is it? It is the ability to define the multiple methods with the same name. Define the multiple methods with the same name, and in the same class, right? The name will be same, but what would be the different? What would be the difference? The difference would be in the parameters. So if you don't know what are parameters, we'll see about that. We'll show you what are parameters. Parameters are nothing but the variables which are being put in. Let me write down here only, which are put in parenthesis. Okay, so let me increase the size. So let's suppose void test is the method name, and I have given the parameter string str here. So this is the parameter. So we are talking about this parameter. So when do we say the parameter is different? The method name is this test. It would be same every time, but this parameter will be changing in overload. Okay, so when overloading happens, in that case, compiler determines compiler determines what it determines. It determines which method to call. Or how do compiler know? How does compiler know the which method to be called? Which method to call? It will be based on the method signature. Method signature. What is method signature? Method signature includes the method with the parameter. So let's suppose there are two parameters and the method name is test with two parameters. So if you are passing two parameters, then two parameters method would be called. If you're passing one parameter, then one parameter method would be called. We'll see it with the example, but let's first understand this. Okay, so I said method parameters. So what is method signature? First let's understand it. Signature. So method signature is made up of name and parameters. Okay, so when we say this name, test, and this includes the method signature. The return type is not the part. Remember, always remember the return type. We have written over on the top line number 3, void test string str. Here void is the return type. This return type is not the part. Note, I'm giving this here also. Note the return type. Return type what is happening. Return type is not the part of signature. Okay, now that we understood this, let's add one more part, one more thing also. Access modifiers. Let me give here only return type, access modifiers, and exceptions. What are access modifiers? Private, protected, default, public. These are access modifiers. Okay, access modifiers and exception declaration. Exception declaration and let me put this. These are not the part of the signature. So we have understood, right? Now we'll see some examples here. So let's say, let me increase the size. Okay, let's say I have an method add and it has int a parameter. This is method 1. Like again, I have method add int a comma int b. This is method 2. Both have different parameters, so this is distinct. Let's add another method double a and double b. This is different. So this is method overloading, where we have the method name same, but we are changing the parameter add, but the parameter in the first method is int a, in second method is int a int b, and the third method consists double a and double b, right? So this is method overloading. Now let's go to the rules. Let's understand the rules of method overloading. So rules of method overloading are very much important, and it should be clear to you that what rules we have and what to do to check. There are certain tricky questions which comes around this method overloading rules, so you must understand it very well in order to crack the interview. So rules for overloading, I have seen people more than 10 years and 15 years. Of course there are factors. 10-15 years experience of people are not coding anymore. They are managing their lead or they are managing the code, but still in some organization like for MNCs, they even uh, like these days, or they will always ask this type of question. to understand whether the manager or the person who is working as a manager, he has the common basic idea of the code or not, he has the basic understanding or not. So they will always ask these core Java questions, and I've seen they stuck, I've seen the person is stuck in the core Java, basic core Java questions in overloading also, because they forget, they do not go through the topics again, and that's the reason. So this is a chance for you to understand it and stand before and stand before the interviewer and correct the interviewer, and you can surpass the 15 years 10 years of experience, so you can be the selected one. So let's say rules for valid overloading. So first rule I will give, what is happening. Okay, okay, let me do this one. Okay, first rule of overloading is this, that the method must have the same name. Method name should be same. Very important one. Second, method should have different parameters. Methods, as we have seen above, methods should have different parameters. Understood? Third, method must different type of parameter. For example, we have seen there that parameters have different parameters and the type of parameters are also different. Like we have int and int a, int b, then double, we have changed the type here. So methods should have different, I'll write in short in the next one, different type parameters. Okay. Fourth, different order. What I'm saying, different order. So let's say we have add int a and double b. So in another method we can write add double b, double a, or int a. So let me give the example here only. So let's copy this method, and but no need to copy. Add int a and double b, right? And the second method, what we can do for this, we can change the order. Add int, not int, double. We put double in front at the first value, and int b as the second parameter, right? So this order should be the different. If it is order, if this order is different and the parameters we have int and double both, this is also considered as method overloading. Next rule is the return type. Some interviewer will ask, if I change the return type, if I remove uh, if I make the return type from into to double, will it still be overloading without changing the parameters? No, it will not be. So return type will not alone differentiate for method overloading. With return type change, we should always check if the parameter is also changed. If it is not changed, parameters are same, that it will not be considered as method overloading. For method overloading. Understood? Now the sixth, same thing. Method signature includes name and parameter, not the return type, not the access modifier, not the exception declaration. So these return type, access modifiers, and exception declaration will not change. If it changes, return type changes, access modifier changes, exception declaration changes, it will not affect the overloading. So I'll write here access modifier and exception declaration will not affect overloading. In what terms? When we have the same parameters. So everything. So listen, the crux, the main thing you need to remember while checking the overloading, while doing the overloading, that the method signature includes name and parameters, and it will always be name and parameters. You change the name, there is no overloading. You change parameter and the name is same, that is overloading, right? So always remember, name should be same always, and the parameters should be different in next method, that is overloading. Okay, that's it, simple. Now let's test this, or let's see this all in code, Eclipse. I'll show you everything. So let me open Eclipse first. It might take a while. Meanwhile, we'll understand this thing. Method overloading again. So method overloading deep dive, what we are learning method overloading. It's a part of polymorphism. And in polymorphism, this type of polymorphism is called compile time polymorphism, because we are checking while compiling the code. It will give error if there is something wrong. It will show duplicate. Let's suppose I have given add int a, and again I have given add int b. So despite of variable change, it will throw a duplication error, because this int a, this type is same, method name is same, everything is same. So then this will show an error, which the error would be, this error would be duplication error. So it will show the method is duplicated, right? Rules for valid overloading, what we have: method name should be same, method uh, should have different parameters, different parameters plus different type of parameters it can also have. So here we have given two int a, int b. This is also this is also overloading when we have add int a, and int b. So this is overloading, right? So only one thing you have to do, just I'll focus here. Let me just, you need to just take care of name and parameters, only this thing. If there is any change in these parameters, you remember that overloading can happen, right? Okay, now let's see if it is open or not. It is opening, still opening. Let it open. It might take some time. Okay, what we will be doing in overloading example, we will be creating a class. In class, we will be creating some methods with different parameters. Okay, and with those parameters, we'll be trying to call the parameter methods, and we'll see what will happen. Okay, so we'll create quite a few, but I think it's open now. Okay, yeah, it is. So let me close all of this. Now we have, I have this is, I'll create one more package here. Class, just go for class creation, and I change the package in here only. It will give us the, I'll give overloading. Package name is discouraged. It should be all small. Overloading deep dive. Okay, now let's give the name. I'll give let's give math operations. So majorly we'll be doing the math operations, and we'll check overloading doing math operations. Okay, so now we have a class. So let's start with the first method. I'll have public int is the return type, add int a and int b, and it is returning, because we are adding, so it will return a plus b. Okay, let's go to the second. I'll do the same thing, but I'll add one more parameter here, int So it will return a plus b plus c. Okay, now these are having same type of parameters. You see, we have same type of parameter, int type parameters. We have same int type of parameters here. Okay, now we'll see the different type of parameters, different types of parameters. Okay, okay, so let me create public double add. Now we have double a and double b. Okay, I'll return a plus b because we are adding. We'll return a plus b, and we are returning double type and different type of parameters. We'll do one more thing, one more method. We'll add string type of return add, and we have string a and string b. Okay, return will be returning a plus b. What happened here? Okay, we have not given a string. Okay, now we have a string. Now I'll change one thing. I'll change the order. Different parameters and different order. Okay, so public string, I'll give method name format. Okay, format int value and string label. Return value plus, this we will do, plus label. Okay, now we'll do the same thing, but we will revert. We will change the position. We'll make the label first and value second. Okay, now and yes, it cannot be like this. Label is string type and this is int type. What was happening? What is happening here? So you see, I have changed the variable only, but still int and string, these both are same. It is giving us duplicate. You see, that's what I was talking about. So you have to change this string label and int value. So now you see, we have different parameters, and one parameter is int, one parameter is string, but in next method we have same combination of parameters, but the order is changed. So now let's do one more thing. Let's add Varargs. What is Varargs? Varargs overloading. So when we write like this is called Vararg. Public int sum int and then 3 dot 1 2 3 and numbers is variable, and will return something like, say, return. For now I'll give 0, and let's give us int total equals to 0 first, then 4 int. This int numbers means vararg means it is an array, so there can be multiple values in numbers, and we are iterating here int and numbers from numbers. And what we are doing total equals to total plus n. Right? This way, this we can also done like this way. This is also the same thing. We are adding total with n, and the total sum value we are giving to total, and then we'll return the total. Okay. Okay, now the methods are completed. Now we'll call it from the main method. We'll create a main method, and let's do one thing. So first we'll have, how do we call this? We call it with the object. We'll create one object of math operation, new math operation. This, and I'll give it m, and we'll call the first method m dot add, and I will give, what it will, I'll give 4 comma 6. So which method it will call? It will call two parameters method. Okay, because we have given 2 parameters. Now if I give 3 parameters here, it will call for 3 parameters method. So as you see, it is calling for 3 parameters. Similarly, if I go for 2 parameters but the double type, so double type means decimal, 4.5 and 6.1 I will give. So it will call for 2 parameters with the double type. And if I go for string, this one, so I have to give a string. So let's see, m dot, the method name is same here, add. So you see this, these four methods for overloading, there are 2 conditions. Does it matches or not? Does it match or not? We'll see. See, add method name is same for all of them, right? Add. Return type does not matter in overloading, and the method parameters are different in every method. So this is overloading. This is overloading happening with between 4 methods. Okay, so let's add. If I give here J Chandra, and I'll give KASHYAP. So this is giving, this will be calling this one. Okay, now we'll go to the this one. So in this method we have m format method we have. So we will not be calling m dot add, we will be calling m dot format. So let's do this. M dot format we are calling, and format in format, which method we are calling, we will be calling int value first, then string later. So I am giving, what I am giving, I am giving int value first, let's say 10, and the label is 10. Okay, now I'll reverse this. I'll give 10 here, string first, and 10. Okay, and let's just change this to 20. So that we distinguish between the methods. Okay, so it will call the second. So you see, this is method overloading between these 2 methods. Method name is same, but the order of parameters is changed. So that's the rule. So this is method overloading. Now the last one, and last one I will call this sum method. So I'll copy this, and I'll call this sum method. And in sum method I'll have to give what? I have to give int numbers. That means I have to give array here. So I'll give array here. I'll give 1, 5. What is point doing here? 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That I have given. Like it's an array, and I have given this. Let's make it continuous natural number. So this we have given. Now let's run it. Let's see what results we are getting. So you see, first part section 4, second part 18, 10.6, Jitendra Kashyap. So it is working fine. So that's what we call overloading. We have understood the overloading. Okay, so I believe that this is clear. Now this overloading was everything about the method overloading. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is also overloading, but not in methods, in constructors. So we'll learn about constructor overloading now. So what is constructor overloading? Let me give you simple definition. It is the same as that of method overloading, but now we will be doing it with constructors, right? What are constructors? Constructors are nothing but these are used to initialize the values, initialize the or assign. Initialize means given the value. Whenever we give the value to any variable, it is initialization. We are giving some values, so that initialization is done with the constructor. So that we will be understanding here. So what are constructors? We have understood initialize, constructors, constructors used to initialize the values. Okay. Now what is method constructor overloading? Constructor overloading, the concept would be same, but we'll be doing it with constructors now. So multiple constructors, what is it? Multiple constructors, multiple constructors, but with different parameters. And what is the definition of overloading? The name should be same, and the name should be same. Name should be same. And as of class. Why I'm saying as of class? Because there is a rule, whenever we are creating a constructor should have the name of the class. Otherwise it will not be a constructor, because constructor is assigning the value to the class variable. So that is why this. So let's see the example. Okay. Class CLA class. I'll create a student class here. Student. Okay. Now I'll add some variables. Private string name, private int age, private string course, private double GPA. And now I'll add the constructor. First one is default constructor. Will add public, because it should have same name as that of class. Class name is this. Default is without parameter, and we'll do this. And what we'll do, we write here unknown, and comma 10. Okay. Now we will write the second constructor, and in this constructor we will give string name and int age, and here I will give name comma age comma, this I will give undeclared This is the string I'm giving, and here I'll give 0.0, 10.0. Okay. What error this is giving? Remove constructor student string and double is undefined. String double. Constructor student string int string double is undefined. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's see if it fixes or not. Let's create one more constructor with all fields. So that I will be doing like this constructor using field. So all field I will be taking. Okay, so that is done. Now let's remove this. This is default super, and add one more method, which is toString method. ToString method is used to have the better readability. So whenever we print a student, it will print the name, age, in readable form. Okay. Now this is done. We have created three constructors. One is with all the arguments, one is with two arguments, one is with zero parameters, not the argument. Zero parameters, two parameters, four parameters we have. Okay, all parameters. Now we'll run it. So this is main method, and I'll create one student class. What is this happening? New student. Okay. Okay. Now we have a student. Let's say student one is this. Now we will create new student with two variables, and I will give here the value Jitendra. Not okay, Jitendra. Let's give Jitendra, and here I'll give 90. Now new student, again we'll call for all our custom parameters. Okay, new student, string name, I'll give the name here. Let's give KSHYAT 0. I'll give here 21, and again the string I'll give computer science. Okay, and I'll give 3.7, not 3.7, I'll give 9.3 CGP. Okay, so let's do this. SYS, so I'll print everything. Student 1, student 2, student 3, student 2, student 3. Let's see what happens here. So you see, in first part, what we have done, we have default constructor. This is constructor overloading we have done, and in default constructor, what we do, we are this dot unknown and 10 we are calling. So already we had, so two parameters. This is what name, it is a string type, and 10 is what age. Course is undeclared, and GPA is 10. From where it is coming? It is coming from the complete constructor, from this, right? So this is how the constructor overloading works. Like, what is constructor overloading? When we have the different parameters in the same class, the constructors will be the same, but the parameters would be different. So this is constructor overloading. Okay. Now let's understand one more aspect of overloading. So let's say there is a situation where I'm not using the exact data type. So instead of int, I have used long, or maybe instead of int, I have used double. So what is happening here? So I'll give you first the brief about the data type. So the data type byte, short, byte, short, int, long, float, double. So here what I have written the minimum, like shortest or smallest data type byte, which has 1 byte of storage. You can say it's a very small data type in numbers, and the double. So it increases the scope, widens from byte to double. So it is bigger than byte is short is bigger than byte, int is bigger than short, long is bigger than int, and float is bigger than long, and double is bigger than float. So why I'm telling this? So whenever, let's see, whenever, so let's take an example. You have 2 glass of water, 1 glass of water, and you have to pour it down into another container. So will you take the smaller container or the bigger container when it would be the possible to pour all of all water from the glass to another container? The only condition would be this, that the container should be equal or bigger than that. So here the same condition, when we are using the same parameter short to short, then we are using the same size of glass. If we are using short to int, so in that case we are using glass to bigger glass, or maybe a bigger, right? So we can widen the scope, we can use the wider data type, but we cannot go back because it will be the cause of data loss. So this is why I have told you. So this is called type promotion. What is it called? It is called type promotion. When type promotion, so the data is given to the bigger container. Okay, I'll save it later. So when it happens, type promotion, when type promotion happens, when there is no exact match. Let's suppose you went to drink water and there is no same size of glass available, and you go for bigger glass. So when there is no exact match available, you will go for the bigger container, bigger data type, so that you can use the bigger data type to fulfill your purpose. So when there is no exact match, match, Java automatically, what Java does, Java automatically promotes, or how we can say widens, smaller numeric, these all are numeric types, to larger types. So for example, we have defined the method with short, but short is not available in next method, then it will use to, it can be used by int. The int will be called. Okay, so that's that. Let's understand it by the example. So let's do next class. In this class I'll give the name type promotion. Close others. And a type promotion, what I'll give, I'll create 2 methods, public void show int x, that's why it's so int plus x. Okay, I'm printing x and the data type of this method. And next method I'm doing, but the data type I will change it to long, the bigger data type. Okay, next I'll do for double. Okay, okay, now we have done 3. Let's go to main method and call it I'll create the class new type promotion, give it TP, and let's call it. I'm calling TP dot show, and I'm giving this one. So let's give 10 here. Okay. Now see which it will call. So I have given TP dot show 10. So it is integer type. Then it will call what? Integer type method only. Okay. And I'll go for another methods also. So now I'll give this long. This is the positive case we are doing. So let's run it. So what happened when I have called this int method is called, then I have given long value, then long value is called, then when I have given double value, then double parameter method was called. Now let's do the experiment. Now I am declaring byte b equal to 4. Now I am passing this pp dot show b. Now because we do not have any byte parameter method, then which method it should call? It should call the next available larger data type method. So it will call this method. Okay, so let's do this. So it is calling int. Now let's comment it. Now it is calling long. Now let's comment this also. So you see, now it's calling double. Understood? So this is the concept of type promotion. Whatever available higher or larger numeric type we have, it will match that and will run it. Okay, so this is about type promotion. Now let's go to the next part, which is autoboxing and overloading. So you may have heard about autoboxing. What is autoboxing? Autoboxing comes into picture when we talk about the wrapper classes or objects. So int is primitive type, but integer is wrapper class. So when we are converting into integer, that is wrapped into integer is wrapped into integer. Int is wrapped into integer, so that is wrapping, and also called boxing, auto boxing. Okay, so let's understand this. Let me give you the context first. What is auto boxing? AUTOBOXING. Auto boxing is what? When primitive converted to wrapper class. Primitive converted to WRAPPR wrapper classes, which means int to integer. Integer is an object, int is primitive type. Got it? This can cause overloading, confusion. So that's why we are reading this. We are learning this. Okay. So let's see. Let's see an example. You will be. I'll save it later. You will better understand this with an example. So let's run it. Class. I'll create one class, and I have given. Let's give it boxing demo. Okay, now let's create one method, public void method int x. Okay, now SYSO, and I'll give here primitive int. Okay, now let's create one more method, but not with the primitive, but with the integer type, integer. So this is integer. or I'll give wrapper here. Okay, now let's call it main. I'll create one object, new boxing, and that's this b. Now I'll do b dot method calling. I'm calling with the value 5, and next thing I'll do the same thing, but I'll do with new integer, and I'll give value here, and I'll give 5. Okay, now let's see what will happen. So it is checking for exact match, right? Now let's go for let's go for an example. Let's say if there is a method long and method integer, calling method wide picks the long. So when this happens, and why this is happening, because widening takes priority over boxing. So what I'm trying to say here, whenever we have integer long, so it will always prefer the widening. So widening, why do why I'm saying widening? Say this, I have given long here. Okay, I'll give long here. So from int to, if I'm talking about, I'm sending int value and there is no method of int type, and if I'm calling this method, then it will be calling this one. It will not go for this one. It will not go for boxing. It will go for the widening. Widening means the larger area. So this is what we are talking about. So this is about what? This is about boxing. So I needed to explain the concept of this widening part. Whenever we have the same type, this integer is also a number, but instead of going to integer wrapper class, it will always go for widening if there is no exact match available. Okay. Okay, now let's take one more example, one last example here for Varargs. Overloading with Varargs. So give Varargs demo. Okay, let's give public void show int x and syso. This is single int, single int plus x, public void show int. Now this is var 3 x, this is an array, syso var args, and this is x dot length plus, let's give this varars is this much of length, and what I have given here number is x. Why is it giving error? Let's save it. Okay, public void, okay, show, public void show, this is x, this is okay. Let's see what is this thing. Syntax error, complete class body, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Syntax error and class body तो complete है हमारी. Why this is doing error? Let's move to the next part. Let's create main method. Mhm. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. The main. Yes, we are not getting the solution for main also. Let's write y here. No. Okay. I have given is. This is wrong. Mhm. Main. Okay. Now let's create a class. New Varargs demo. Give it bd bd. Now let's bd dot show 10 bd dot show with 2 and bd dot show with 3. So 3 arguments. Three. What do you mean by three parameters? 3 arguments. 2 arguments. 1 argument. So varars have the lowest priority in the method. So exact, it will check for exact match first, then for widening, then for auto boxing, then varars. Understood? So varars. So here it is fine for exact match. This is the exact match. If this is exact match is available, it will call this one only single int. Then with 2 args, then 3 args. Okay. So here we have understood. First it will go for the exact match, the priority. This is the for the very first thing it will check. Then if it is exact match is not found, it will go for widening. If widening is not there, then it will go for auto boxing. If auto boxing is not found, then it will go for Varargs. Varargs is less uh, prior, or we can say priority. It has the less priority. Okay. So this we have done. Let's put it in the notes. I will save it. No, I'll not save it in Google Drive. I'll save it in my device. Save. Okay, so this is all about overloading. What else we have? We have done overloading. We have done different type of overloading. We have done with auto boxing, Varargs, and yeah, that's all pretty much. Let me discuss you few questions also. Okay, let me show you some questions. Let me we'll discuss. Okay, so there are few tricky questions interviewer can ask and can make you stuck in that problem for forever. Forever means you can fail your interview. So let's start. So the very first thing, what there are some output question I'm giving. So let's say I have void. I'm writing here. I have this void m int x int y. Then something happening here, and void m long x long sorry int y long x int y, and something is happening here, and I'm calling m with value 5 comma 5. Okay, so what is there? So we have int and long int. So you see here, so it's not int long, int long. So what will be happening here? It will give us some error. Why it will give us some error? So you see, like we have recently understood that whenever we have, let's say 5 is there, if 5 is an int, it will go for long, it, because there is widening happening here. And if it is 5, and 5 is also can be considered as long. So the widening is happening here, so compiler will not be able to distinguish that which one to call, because there is widening happening, and it will give us the compiler error. Compiler error. Compiler will not be able to distinguish which method to call. Not be able to distinguish which method to call. This is ambiguous error, because the compiler gets confused. Now the next question is, can we can we overload the main method? What is the next method? Next question, can we overload the main method? Think about it. So yes, we can overload, but what will be happening here? When we overload, then JVM will always find the exact signature first, and the compiler will run with the main method. There is the syntax of main method. We have public static void main string args. That is exact signature. So we can define as many overloaded main method as we want, but the JVM will always call the one with exact signature, which is public static void main string args. Okay, and overloaded method can be called explicitly with some version. So yes, we can overload, but what will JVM do? But JVM will always search for public static, which is the main method. You did not to learn this, void main string array and args. This is the syntax of main method. So JVM will always look for this to run or to start the program. So next question, can we overload the method across parent and child class? Let me write it. Can we overload methods across parent and child class? So of course, yes, we can overload. What is overloading? We have to follow the overloading concept only. Then everything follows. So yes, it can be done, but the different parameter list as the parent class should be there. However, when we overload this is actually not called overloading. This is called method hiding, because overloading happens within the class. It can be done, but this is called method hiding, and true overloading happens only within the class. Okay, understood this? Now there is this classic question, This comes with two variants. I'll show you the first one, the second one later. So let's say I have two methods, m with the string s and m with integer I. Okay, now I'm calling it with what? With m null. Okay, now you see here, there is this string, there is this integer. Which method it will call? The question is this. So it will look, a string and integer both are not primitives. These are wrapper classes, and wrapper classes main advantage is the null handling. They accept the null, they do the null check. They have is empty, is blank kind of methods and is null method. So they both can accept null. So when they both can accept null values, so again the compiler will get confused which method to call, because both can accept null. Similarly, if I go with same question we have this when compiler was not able to understand which method to call. So this will also give ambiguous error. But if I change this a bit, let me write this, compiler will get confused which method to call. Okay, now let's change this to a bit. Now I'm saying I have same thing, but इधर ले आते हैं इसको इसको कर देते हैं ऐसे, इसको ठीक है. We have the same thing, but let's change this to object. So now you should know, if you are not aware, let me tell you, object is the supermost class. Every class is the child of object. So this string is a child of object also. So when I'm passing m dot null, now what will happen here? Now this question is must. In first one there was null value, here it was not. What is happening? It was not able to call the method because both were accepting null. Now in this situation, when we have object and when we have a string as a parameter, so which method it will call now? In this case it will call the more specific, here. Which one is more specific? String accept null, so it will call string. It will call string. Understood? Right? Next question is the same simple question. If we overload any method which is having the difference in exception handling only. Let's say if we are throwing different exception in the first method, let's say IO exception I'm throwing, and in the second method I'm throwing exception. So what would be happening here? So is it overloading or not? Is it overloading if methods only differ in exception declaration? So as I have already told you, exception handling, return type, where is it, and access modifier, they are not included in method overloading. Only naming parameters are included. Okay, so this is it. This was all about method overloading deep dive. I hope you enjoyed it. Do some more questions. You can go online, you can go for any AI tool, and you can ask for more practice questions on this topic. The more you practice, the more you learn, the more you understand. Okay, the more you become better. So that's all. Thank you guys.